You're still watching The World Now on TVC News. The Food and Drug Administration has announced the approval of an Ebola vaccine, making it the first for the deadly disease approved in the United States. Now, this follows the approval of the vaccine in Europe in November. The approval is based on results from a study conducted between 2014 and 2016 during an Ebola outbreak in Guinea. The vaccine is administered as a single-dose injection that contains a protein from the virus. The most commonly reported side effects were pain, swelling, and redness at the injection site, as well as headache, fever, joint and muscle aches, and fatigue. And our representative's Ebola Response Congo, Grant Leaity, joins me from the United States. Many thanks to you, Grant Leaity, for joining us on this hour. Let's get your reaction to the approval of this Ebola vaccine by the FDA.
Yes, good afternoon. Many thanks. This is an extremely important development for what is a life-saving vaccine, which now clears the way for the producer, Merck, to actually produce this under license. Until now, it has been really on an experimental basis, which means that the actual vaccine protocol and also the quantity of the vaccine available have been limited, as is the case for any experimental vaccine.
All right. According to reports here, it also says that the protection is not guaranteed. It is not clear how long protection from the shot can last, as the effectiveness from some inoculations can fade over time. What is the implication of that?
Well, it is true that they have not clarified how long the protection is for. In the administration of the vaccine, for example, I was vaccinated a few months back. Bear in mind that the importance of it is, when there's an actual outbreak, it's at that time that it's very important to have the protection. Going forward in the future, if it is found out to have a limited duration over time, then that will be a matter for the World Health Organization as the technical authority to clarify then whether one could be revaccinated again in the future. However, it is an extremely effective vaccine. You mentioned that there are some side effects. Generally speaking, they're very light. It's at the maximum lasts for a period of 48 hours where one can experience some kind of headache and potentially temperature, but that doesn't happen to every person.
The rising prices of vaccines have posed a serious challenge to their accessibility and availability to people who need them. What has been done, or what can be done to ensure that this vaccine is accessible or available to those who actually need them in Africa?
Right. The announcement by the FDA was followed just very shortly thereafter by the Global Alliance for Vaccines, Gavi, who've announced that they will procure $178 million worth of the vaccines to support low and medium income countries. So the idea, we are not sure of the pricing structure yet, but the vaccines that are produced will only be sold to high-income countries, whereas the low and medium income countries will benefit from this vaccine free of charge because of the decision by the Global Vaccine Alliance.
All right, this vaccine will be available in 2020. What has been done in the interim to ensure that people are safe from Ebola outbreak?
The vaccine, the experimental version of the vaccine, is still being administered. In Eastern DRC, as we speak, we still have the outbreak, which has been running since August of last year. And in other words, the protocol is the vaccine, the experimental version is still available. And there have, in the cases of a few high-risk areas, and the World Health Organization, along with the Ministry of Public Health in DRC, have actually given authorization for geographical coverage, which is a different approach to what has been used up until now, where since the beginning of this outbreak and the use of the experimental vaccine, it's been used for contacts. So people who have come into contact with a confirmed patient with Ebola are referred to as contacts, as well as their contacts. So at the moment that up until now, the vaccine, because of limited quantities available, have been used to vaccinate all people who have come into contact and their contacts of any confirmed Ebola patient. Going forward, the significance of this is that with greater quantities of the vaccine available in certain specific cases, maybe of areas for difficult access, the vaccine will be available in quantities to vaccinate everybody in that geographical location.
All right. Representative Ebola Response Congo, Leaity Grant, many thanks for your time on this issue.